today who is, let me let her introduce herself and tell me a little bit about herself. That's one of the hardest working women I know, a dynamic entrepreneur, and I don't think she ever rests. So, Ms. Groeneveldt, tell me, who are you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for that warm introduction. I mean, wow.
You're a hard-working person, yeah?
Thank you so much. Listeners, my name is Ameera Groeneveldt. I am from St. Maarten. I was born on Aruba, and I came here to live most of my life, went to Holland, came back, and Mr. Clark indeed is correct. The hustle has been a very long one. However, you learn from what you've been through, and how to do it smarter, not only harder, has been the transition that myself and my team has gone through. So it's not only knuckle and grind, but now it's how can I use my mind to do the heavy lifting as well.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about, a presentation that we have with a solution that we found, a financial investment opportunity that we created, so that we can also help others who wants to make not just some extra money to pay a bill, because that's not living, that's just existing. What we would like is for persons who want to make more money to create generational wealth, to create legacy, to be able to invest, to be able to move forward with doing what you love to do in life, and not only just living according to someone else's script.
Well, that's good to know. And of course, if whatever you're doing includes improving the health of people, that's very important.
Health is wealth, right?
Yep, and long life too. It also, it's to live longer. Yes. Everybody wants to live long, but they don't want to do what it takes.
Yes, because everybody wants to go heaven, but they don't want to do what it takes to get there.
Yeah, that's true too.
So health also has its own strategies that will cost you in the beginning, but in the long run you win.
It pays off.
Yes. So now with this, the financial opportunity will go together with providing pain-free, when more specifically back pain, ease for persons to live life better. So you get to make money while others get to live a better life. So you're actually spending happy money.
Yeah, okay. But tell me about this
presentation.
Because you got me all, how would I say, already.
Awesome.
I want to hear this.
Well, listeners and viewers, because we're also recording, 2017 was an amazing year. It was the year that we realized there was a problem, not just on St. Maarten, not just in the Caribbean, but most people, they have a pain that has continued to escalate, that now roughly 80% of the world suffers with, and that is back pain.
Yep.
Back pain is a major problem that people do surgery and therapy and take injections and pills. The older you get, the worse it gets. But young people, 18, 15, 9, they also are now complaining about more and more back pain.
Yep.
So because of this, we saw it was like a pandemic at that point. And I took it upon myself to create a customized back brace, because the many back braces that were available were not catering to our body types.
Yeah.
And I never did any design, so I went to Mr. Fernando Clark's wife, who is a seamstress, and I said, I need your help on how to do this. So she gave me some guideline tips, and between 2017, 5 years afterwards, the Enforcer One back brace has begun to take a life of its own, meaning persons who purchased this brace had an almost immediate ease from back pain, and that came from the creation of it specifically was for the purpose of to ease your back pain. So now 2021, the final design came about. I even went to China in 2018 because I did a competition here on St. Maarten, like an inventors competition, and I won for Caribbean, Latin America, and it was an amazing experience to get to go to China to represent us. So those persons saw the power in this brace. But what happened is in 2021, the productions had to stop because we could not keep up with the demand. We kept on getting it. So this year, 2024, it's like the wave came back. You know, every couple of years we would get, so where is it? And then we were like, we can't produce it because we need a lump sum of money. But if you can pre-order, we will use that money to get the stuff.
Yeah.
But then persons in pain want it now, not 1 to 3 months from now.
Yep, if you're in pain, yeah, you need it.
You want it now. I mean, I'm sure the listeners who hear somebody who listening now either have back pain or know somebody who have back pain and probably tried almost everything under the sun, but it's still there. So now myself and my partner, who's King, he said, what if instead of going for a loan or going for the big dogs, what if we create a financial investment opportunity for anyone who would like to enter the world of financial investment to be able to create these products in order to sell them to the people in pain who have been begging us consistently. And by doing that, we did our first presentation, and that was last week Saturday, and it went great. So what was the most interesting thing was we decided to add not just financial investor, but we decided to do something that is familiar, but we did it with a twist. Have you ever heard of partner hand, Mr. Clark?
Partner hands, yeah.
Okay. Now, what would you say with partner hand is a risk?
If you're in a partner hand with people who collect and don't contribute, you know, that could be a risk. Let's say if 12 of us, and then 2 people decide, you know, I collect in January, and the next one collect in February, and they decide, well, I ain't contributing again because I don't get my money. The others are stuck; they have lost. So that is a risk. You know.
Any other risk you can think of?
Well, that's the biggest risk right now. But,
okay, here's a question for you, maybe too, and the listeners. What about where is that money stored when it's collected?
Yeah, that's the other thing. If it is safe, and also if let's say if I'm to collect in December, okay, if I were taking that money and putting it on a bank, I would have gained interest on it in the meantime. With a partner hand, that doesn't happen. You know, so that is also, well, it's not a risk, but it's not a benefit. You know, it's a downside of it.
Very good. Now here's another wrench to throw in. What happens if you happen to die before December? Oh.
Then you better make an arrangement that somebody will collect that money.
But is that a normal thing?
No.
That a normal thing with partner hand? That they go, is there any documentation, paperwork, any kind of receipts, anything like that with partner hand?
No.
So talk about risk. That sounds like a pretty high risk to me. What do you think?
If you were to die, yes, you know, unless the people are kind enough to go look for your next of kin and give them or ask them to continue, because it could happen that you collected and then die.
All of that too.
You know,
and then what happened to the other people?
Yeah. So you know, if they go to the next of kin and say, look, your father collected 1,200 guilders, and he only contributed 200. Where's the other 1,000 going to come from? You guys got to pay. They can say no because you don't have anything documented.
Right. So all of this we took into consideration, and we said, what if we have to revamp the idea of partner hand and make it better? So here is let's go from certain points that you made. First point is, what if someone backs out? Then you get your money after, right?
Yep.
Now that's based on every month one person getting their money.
Yep.
If it's 12 people, it's 12 months. If it's 10 people, it's 10 months.
Yeah.
No one is able to collect multiple times, just that one time.
That's
Also, there is not a possibility to be paid out to multiple people to collect, only one person. So here's what we did to solve that problem. First of all, there's no such thing with us with a bunch of people hands in it. The product that will be designed, which is the Enforcer one, your money is going to go into the production of this particular product, which is the back brace. Meaning there is no such thing as Tommy hand, Peter hand, Paul hand. It's like a whole lump sum. Okay? So
everybody will contribute the same amount? Or?
No, here's the best part.
Okay.
you can choose the amount you want to contribute compared to you in a partner hand for 200. You have to go in another partner hand for 500. You gotta go in another partner hand for 7. What we did, we provided options all in one umbrella. So if you want to do $100, $200, or 500, you can do it all in one. There is no moving around. So you don't have the risk of multiple people. That's one thing. So that high risk off the table. The second thing is, what about the payment once a month, one person? So instead of that, what we created is a 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months plan. If you are in the 6 months and 3 people are in there, or 10 people are in there, or 100 people in there, everyone would get paid in 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Which is 100% different than a partner hand where it's just one person.
Yep.
So guess what that means? You have more flexibility. So we
True.
solved that. Now here's the other thing. You mentioned put your money on the bank and you will get interest.
Yep.
So we did some research. How much interest do you think Windward Island Bank pays you when you put money on your personal savings account? Annually.
If
Interest
they get
rate.
anything.
Okay.
That's if you get anything.
It's below 0, it's below 1%. Below 1%. So here's my question. Your statement of if I put a money in a bank, I get interest. Is it worth 0.6% to save it?
Nah. Not if you're saving for interest purposes.
If the interest purposes that you saving for is
Then it
0.6%.
isn't worth it.
Okay. So most people do the partner hand, it's like a savings because I can't touch my money. Here's another thing. If you put your money on the bank, you can access it, correct?
Yep.
So what happens if you have $1,000 on the bank to say, I ain't gonna touch it in 6 months? Do you think you'll touch it if you can access it easily?
Yeah, if it's easily accessible, then yeah, you will touch it.
And what happens to us when we save money in the bank, trying to not touch it, we end up touching it.
Yep.
So whatever little interest you could have get, you can't touch it because the money gone down so low that it
It
practically
doesn't
make
work.
no
Yeah.
sense. So here's what we did to that. We decided to do something that is so super that you guys are crazy. Instead of a 0.6% savings meaning your money is lazy money. How we call it lazy money. You know why? Because it isn't multiplying. It isn't making you increasing anything. If you put $5 on your table and you come back at 10 o'clock in the night,
It will be $5.
still will be $5. Lazy money. So we decided, why not put your money to work for you? You know what the best part about when your money works for you instead of you working for your money? There's no off days, there's no sick days, and it's 24 hours, period. You have a limitation, not your money.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do was put your money to work instead of you having lazy money. We decided to give you interest of, wait for it, between 20 and 30%. 30.00, not 0.30. Big difference. You understand what I mean? So when we say partner hand plus interest, you see how the bank does charge you interest when you take a loan? This is like you being the bank and somebody else paying you and getting you interest. So now it's not interest in the sense of paying back from a loan. This is interest on top of your partner hand. So we're going to do a little quick calculation. Let's say you do an investment of $100 to contribute towards this product being made, and you're going to get your money. For 5 months, you're going to put in $100 every month on a specific day, just like partner hand.
Yeah, you put in 100.
You put in 100, just like partner hand, correct?
Yep.
Nobody is collecting this entire period. Everybody is putting in. And here comes month 6. So for 5 months, you put in 100 every month. So by the 5th month, you have 500, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So now we're in month 6, the collection month. So here's what happens. You not only will get 500, you will get 30% interest on top of your 500. which is a total of $650. That's 150% interest from your 500 at 30%. So we talking $650 in 6 months means your money went to work. Unlike a partner hand, if you put in $100 every month, you would be, if it's 5 people, you would be collecting 400, right? Because your 100 made it to 5, correct? So you collecting 400 because you is the 100 to make it to 5.
4 other people.
Yes. So guess what? You now collecting $650. Your money plus interest. That is what the power of putting your money to work can do. And this is what we found in the years of how do we make money if we ain't got no extra time, if we really struggling with how to do that with little bit of money and no real knowledge of finances, how can we do that? And for the last few years, that's what we were figuring out. And when we found out how to do it, we said, instead of us taking this gift, multiplying our money and giving it to the big guys, why don't we educate our people with exercising financial and economic empowerment, which is what we're doing now. So we taking what you normally just do and we putting your money to work. Saving back in the day, great, because things were not as expensive back in the day. You could have put it under your mattress. You could have put it in your pillowcase. Because guess what? It was a couple of cents of bread, if that. But seeing as how everything going up instead of your salary, it's called inflation. Meaning, to produce something means you need material. Those materials become a little harder to find, which means it costs more money to get them. If it costs more money to get them, it costs more money to create them. So that when you have to buy it after that person bought it, you walk in the store and you buy it and you say, but that last week it was $1. Now it's $1.50. Now it's $2. They're highway robbing us. They're robbing us. So I said, guess what? It's called inflation. Because your salary isn't going up, you feeling the sting. But if your money were going up, as well as inflation, you wouldn't have feel the sting. So the problem what we have, Fernando and listeners, is how do we make more money with not so much time and very little knowledge on how to do that? You need to put your money to work for you. This is what the opportunity is that we are offering anyone listening.
And people can invest how much, whatever amount
we have
they want.
3 amounts.
Oh, okay.
It's either 100. Here's how it goes: $100 a month for 5 months, and then you collect in month 6. Option 2 is $190 a month for 8 months, and then you collect in month 9, or $460 in 11 months, and you collect in month 12. So we talking that you can collect $650 if it's the $100 a month. If it's the $190 in month 9, you'll be collecting $1,900 because that's 25% interest. And if you invest the $460 a month for 11 months with a 20% interest, mind you, on top, meaning plus, not minus, plus, you'll be collecting $6,052 in 12 months. You meaning whomever, if it's 10 people, 12 people, 100 people, everybody who is in that particular group will be collecting that. Now imagine, Fernando, you see how you're sitting on here with me on the interview. You could be on your phone, you could talk to your family, whomever it is you're in conversation with. Your money right now working.
While I hear.
While you there. And how? People say, how? Simple. Because the fact that 80% of the world have back pain, if the world has over 8 billion people, 80% from 8 billion people need our help. So for someone to say, but can it run out? What if you sell and you sell out? We're people, just so you know, we're not going to sell over 8 billion braces in any time. So we have a product that's good. And secondly, people tend to say, but how do you know if people want to buy it? I'm like, simple. The simple fact that almost every day or every other day, whenever people see this brace. Matter of fact, the flyer we have in front of us now, we were running an ad on Facebook and we ran an ad in the newspaper stating we have the presentation. Do you know people just saw the brace, was so excited, thought that we selling them again? They didn't even read Panahan interest presentation. They just saw the brace and they were like, oh, it's back. Let me tell you, when someone in Jamaica, Trinidad, Aruba gets the brace because a person's here bought it, shipped it to them. We didn't even know it went Caribbean wide until they contacted us asking us for more. Senior citizens, when they were not able to go in the garden again or be independent. One of my clients, the reason why I have to tell the story is because the times I wanted to give up on this brace with the thousands that we spent just to reach here, we would get a client that would remind me that God said, you need to continue because of it. So the senior citizen I went by had a lot of braces. She put them in front of me. It's like, what makes your brace any different than this? Knowing that people in pain are not nice people. And it's a fact, because you're not sleeping, you're in pain, and you in health would know, especially you and your wife, if you encounter people in pain, they're not nice people. Not because they don't want to be, because they just fed up, they're frustrated, they're tired. So I simply put the enforcer one on her and say, you know what? I'm not here to compare. I'm here for you. So let's try it on, because I'm here anyway. And as I tried it on, and she tried it on, on her, showed her how it was, she then was like, I don't know, I ain't feel no difference. And then I said, okay, you know what? Here's a question. What could you not do? And she said, well, I couldn't sweep. And I said, well, just for fun, let's just grab the broom and let's see what happens. So she grabbed the broom. I said, show me exactly how you couldn't sweep. And then she was showing me. I said, interesting. What else you couldn't do? She said, I couldn't mop. I said, you got your mop? She's like, yeah. I said, let's grab the mop. She grabbed it, she started to mop. And then I said, okay, final thing. What else you couldn't do? She said, well, when I sit down, it's good. But when I get back up, that's when the pain kick in. I said, okay, where your chair be? Sit down right there for me. And then I talked to her for like 1 minute, 2 minutes. And I said, okay, get up for me. And then I said, let's say her name's Susie. Susie, you just did the 3 things that you said you could not do. And it was then she paused and she went, oh my God. And then she started to cry. I said, Susie, why are you crying? She said, because for her whole life she was independent. She got a stroke. Now she had to depend on her children. And she couldn't even sweep or mop. And that made her feel so depressed. She's like, but the fact that I was able to do that in the few minutes of just wearing this product, she kicked me out of the house, Fernando. She went, I gotta see what else I could do. she's like, what else I could clean? I could this.
She had to go do it, sir.
She was like, I could live now, gone. And it's moments like that remind me of you're doing something not just to make money. Because ultimately in our presentation Saturday, one of the questions that I'm going to ask is, okay, you want to make more money. Why? Listeners, I would like you to think about this too. Right now, someone is listening to me thinking, yeah, I want to make an extra 1,000, I want to make an extra 50, I want to make an extra 1,000,000. Great. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to make more money to pay a bill? Or do you want to make more money to live? It's 2 different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of them going to sustain you in the nights of horror and terror that you don't want to continue. And the other one is going to phase up real quick. And that's most of the time when you got to pay a bill. Because unfortunately, when you have what we have a lot of is poverty mindset. Our goal is to inject wealth mindset. We have developed a poverty mindset, not on our own fault, but because that's how the culture was. Dirty, stinking, filthy money. You're going to be all used to it. You're going to praise it. You're going to forget God. Forgetting that God gave us money as a tool to use because God is an abundant God. God said, take more, do more, be more. He didn't say go less and do less. Why are we trying to look like we're struggling to prove a point? And then when those who are wealthy because they know how to do it, we condemning them.
Yep.
It should not be.
So the presentation takes place where?
I can't say the location because it's a limited seating. Only persons who are invited can attend. So I'm here to invite anyone who's listening now who wants to make more money, not just because you want to make more money's sake, but because you want to start living and not just existing. For the single mother, for the two couples, people who think they got no time, from even the senior or the teenager who's like, I don't know much. Great. We can teach you. And it ain't that complicated. So the telephone number to call is plus 1721 556 1667. I'm saying again, plus 1721 556 1667. And what happens is your call, I will have to do a screening, which is sensitive because we just had politics. But anyway, we have to screen because this isn't for every. I just want to know. If you want to know, just ask me on the phone. But if you're like, you know what, I can accumulate some kind of money, or I always wanted to learn about financial investment and I have something, or finally something, you would be somebody who should be there. Maximum 20 people will be at the presentation because it's a small, intimate group, which is why I said invitation only and not something where it's a whole bunch of people. Reason being, because when you are educating someone in an arena that is sensitive, and when I say sensitive, I mean pad in the hand. The persons who approached me, I'm curious, but I've been burnt in the past. Or somebody I know had this, or we had drama with that. So we know that the arena that we're entering is a sensitive one and we respect it. However, we're saying if you have ever done pad in the hand before and you have always wanted to make more money in it, knowing you can do it, or you wanted more security and less risk, because pad in the hand is a high risk. As you just said, Mr. Clark, it's a high risk. Also, there's no way for you to do multiple. There's no way for you to multiply. You basically saving money. That's it. That's pad in the hand. And here's what I was thinking. So many people build their house with pad in the hand, send their children away with pad in the hand, get stuff, right? Imagine how much more they could have do if that money was added with interest.
Mm-hmm. Now, but let me just ask this question, because one of the questions people are going to get, that people are going to ask you is, I invest my money.
Yes.
How does the person who takes that money,
yes,
how do they invest that money to be able to pay me that amount of interest?
Great question. Mm-hmm. So the money goes into the product called the Enforcer One. The Enforcer One back brace will be created and produced so that it can help people who are in back pain to get the ease to live. Your money will go into creating it, producing it, marketing it, talking about it, the shipping, the packaging. The best part is you don't have to do any of that. We do that. We do all the heavy lifting, and all you do is sit down and do nothing, because you know why? Your money busy working. The reason why we can add interest is because unlike a partner hand or like a bank, let's use a bank for example. A bank doesn't create products. A bank doesn't have services outside of banking services. A bank has no other way to make money other than charging you interest so that it can get its money. That's why they lend
and invest in the money that they collect.
Because it's true interest. The interest is the way how they make money. Now that's in Maarten. They have other banks in the world that does more to create so that they have more room. So now guess what happens? If you don't pay your interest on the loan that you have from the bank gonna be in a little sweaty position, because it's like, we ain't got no buffer, we ain't got no other to whatever. In our case, because we're a business and the product that you're investing in with this money to create, we are selling these products. We're not holding on to your money and waiting until to pay you back with that. As soon as your money comes here, she goes to work. She goes in production. She goes in marketing. She goes in packaging. She goes the delivery, because we are shipping these braces from St. Maarten to the world. The best part is you do nothing. And unlike a lottery or anything that you would hope to be a millionaire from, your money actually doing something that you can see, touch, and feel. It's not in the air. It's not a hope. Everybody who plays the lottery doesn't win. But in this case, every investor wins. Because of the interest, that's how you win. And the funny thing is, right now, someone is spending their money in a way that they should not be thinking I don't have no extra money to spend. And here's what I would say to this person. If instead of going to get your nails done 5 times in the month, what about going 4 times? What about going 3 times? With enough reduction, you would have some money accumulated. With that accumulation, you add that up, you will have money. It's all about budgeting.
Mhm.
Persons right now who buy food 5 times a week, what about buying food 4 times a week? What about buying food 3 times a week? And then you get some stuff to cook so that you don't have to buy the food all the time. It's all about, if you truly want to do something, you will figure out a way how to do it. But excuses is the first thing that we come up with. Because I can't, I don't know how to. And you know what's so funny, Mr. Clark? When you hear stuff like the Blessed Circle or all of these stuff that has come here and people jump on one time and then afterward cry, you don't hear so many people asking 21,000 questions like, but how, but who, but exactly, let me see the papers, let me see the finances. And here we come, it's like, but how, but who, let me see the papers. And I'm like, did you do that too with the Blood Circle? Did you do that too with any other thing that came here?
Yeah, like the pyramids and all of
Hello.
that thing.
So all of these things we are very flexible and blind trusting with. And then here we go saying, you have a tangible something, it's not in air. How you gonna get your money back? You ain't gonna get your money back, only you getting your money back plus interest because your money going to work. This isn't no saving. This is why with us, you are going to sign a contract agreement. You don't do that with Partner Hand, do you?
Nope.
Okay. With us, you will get an invoice every time you make your payment. You don't get that with Partner Hand, do you? Also, you will get an overview of how much money you've invested so far, what the interest is so far, and when your expected payout date will be. You don't get that with Partner Hand, do you?
Nope. But and this will also indicate in the contract what would happen in the event if, let's say, the person dies.
Yes.
Or
in the contract, we have stipulated you have to put the name, telephone number, date of birth, email address from the just in case you die person. And understand that the just in case you die person is not only responsible to collect in case you die, but they're also responsible to make the monthly payments.
If you die.
If you die. Because ultimately, if you do not make your payments and you have 1 week as a buffer, if that still is not paid within that window, then the contract is terminated, you lost all the money that you put in, and you will have to start over.
And then it also indicates from the investment side what happens if this project, for whatever reason, may run into financial issues.
Yes, because all of that is in the legal terms. When you go through it, you will see one of the clauses is legal. If we don't hold up our end of the bargain, you get back your money. If not, you could take up legal matters. Also states you gotta hold up your end of the bargain with us when it comes to monthly. Because for us, Mr. Clark, it is, if you have to read, when you have to read a contract, we're not using big, huge, jumbo words. We're keeping it real simple. This is a financial investment. So this is not where the braces are made, how this is the, no. That is an equity and shareholder question. This is not what that's about. This is a money in
But in investments,
and a money
right?
out. It's a financial. There's a difference. People, listen in to me. There's a difference between financial and equity. Equity means ownership. Ownership means I could have a say with what it is you're doing, and I gonna ask all those questions, that the stuff that other people don't know about, the secret stuff and how the sauce is made. That's equity and shareholder. That's not what you be. You are the financial investor, which means after a period of time, you not only get back your money, you get back your money plus interest, then contract terminated, unless you want to reinvest.
Yeah. But people have to realize that in investments, you can gain, but you could also lose.
Correct.
That's how investments go.
Yes.
And that's why people are cautious.
Yes.
with where and what and how they invest.
And this is why we tell people, just like how before you do anything, if you're going to go on a date with someone, you want to learn about this person before meeting them. You go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, let me see what this person, you gotta do some research. With us, what we tell people is, please do research with us. And while you're doing it, understand this. From between 2017 to now, we have sold the VRAMI department, the fire department, the ambulance department, CC1, and in St. Kitts is a company called Solid Waste Management, and others as well. These are all bosses who invested in the health of their workers, and they saw something in this brace. Mind you, the brace has been through different phases, different prototypes. In 2021, the final one was designed, but during that period, it was some tweaking in between. They didn't even mind that because they were like, this looks 110% different than the other braces on the market. So even though it's still in its development stage, it is worth it still. And our retail price, so people know, is between $100 and $200 for the brace. Why? Because we have 2 extra small until 3 extra large. It depends on the size, the amount of money that you have to pay. This is not an amount that somebody would pay if they just feel like they want to try it on. They would go to Ace or whatever and buy those cheap ones, whatnot. But for the people who have tried several braces before, when they see the Enforcer One brace, from a picture alone, they go, this look like a vest that gonna save my life. This look like evidence that something good. And the fact, Fernando, the highlight of this whole thing, tis we own thing. I say Maarten developed, created this product. It exists nowhere else in the world. Only if I put it there. This isn't an Amazon. Oh, I find something like that on Amazon. Said, baby, darling, the only way you can find it on Amazon is if someone buy it in bulk from us and put it there on sale. Because the Enforcer One is nowhere else. It's a St. Maarten created product that has been sold worldwide. But the demand was so much that we could not. So now, we not only will have the opportunity to say, you want a brace now, it's here now. But we also have the opportunity to say, hey, single mom, you don't make more than $1,000 and all your expenses is $1,500, which is why you're living with somebody right now because you know you shouldn't, but you can't afford it. What if you had to make an extra $1,000 by doing nothing different than what you're doing now, only taking your money from over here and moving your money over here while it's working, and you doing nothing different? We can afford to help financially persons who can't do anything else because they really don't got that time. So we're not helping only people in pain in one way, but we also helping people in pain in another way, which is a financial pain. But what we're telling people is, we understand that you're going to be skeptical or nervous or scared and all of these different things, which is normal, which is why we have our presentation. Because then you get to not see me only, not see the facts, not see the statistics, see the breakdown of what we're offering you. But also you could get to interact with the Enforcer One yourself. We're going to put it on individuals who are in pain. You're going to see them. You could touch it as well. It's a tangible product that has changed lives since it has developed, and it will continue to do so. The youngest person I sold a brace to was 9 years old, and that broke my heart. You want to hear that quick story real quick?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so when we was in our location establishment, in the hallway, I heard a couple of young people making noise, and I was like, what's going on? And they saw the brace in the distance, and they were saying, we just teasing him because we telling him, you need one of those. And I was like, that's not nice to do, because I'm sure this young man is pretty young and I would hate for him to have back pain. And then he went, actually, miss, I do. I was like, at 9 years old, how? And then he said, well, here's the thing. I am the man of the house. And when mommy need anything lift up and heavy groceries or anything fixed, I's the man to do it. And because of that, my back was hurt. I almost melt. 9 years old. But he was so skinny, the first thing that came to mind was, I don't think the extra small could fit him. Because he was so tiny. When he put it on, it almost wrapped around him. He said, oh my God, this feels so good. And I was like, I know, but you know what could feel even better? If it was actually in your size. And because of this young man, I went back to the development and created 2 extra small. So now we have 2 extra small, small, all the way up to 3 extra large. And the best part about being a developer is that when you see a problem, you have the power to solve it. And not, I wish somebody could come up with something. You are that person.
Mm-hmm. You are the person that will come
You
up
are
with
the person. So we have our presentation. We're encouraging persons who are not just interested, but people who are going, I'm hearing what Ameera is saying. It makes sense to me. I not only want to just exist, I want to live. And indeed, I would love to make more money, not just to pay bills, but to do something else with. Because young people come and I'm sure Mr. Clark asked you for maybe a sponsorship or a donation or something because of something they want to do. If you are on a tight budget, you're going to have to decline even though you would love to help them. If you had more money, you could. So this is also for persons who want to do good, but they just don't have access to what they would love to have. And because the financial education on not just St. Martin, but other places are so difficult because it's not easily accessible, because unfortunately, when someone has made it or someone is on their way up and you asking them, hey guy, hey lady, can you tell me how? They'd agree, well, you got to figure that out on yourself because I had to figure it out by myself. So I ain't gonna tell nobody. What we're saying is we want to share the education, but you're going to be doing work while learning, because working and learning is the best way how. You're going to be learning about investment while doing it. You can start as low as $100 a month up to $460. You can make in 6 months $650, or you can make in 12 months $6,052 by doing nothing but taking your money from over here by it being lazy and not multiplying and doubling and putting it over here to work so that you can get interest. So my telephone number for those who would like to contact and see if they want to be part of the presentation, very limited to 20 people, is +1721 556 1667. Again, +1721 556 1667. So guess what? We had a presentation Saturday. The reason why we're having one this Saturday is because the Saturday we had sold out and more kept coming. So that's literally why we have this one now. And right now we have like 5 spots left, just from the ones who came last Saturday, had people who they thought of who would benefit from this. And now this is also why we created this. So there's people out there who wants to take action. Our job is to create the platform and the opportunity for you to be educated so that you can make an educational, sound decision on how you want to move forward with your money so that you can multiply it in a way that you can understand by taking it step by step with a team and a group of people who are not just willing to show you, but willing to bring you along with us. It took us 10 years to come up with this idea. It should not take you 10 years to get to where you need to, because somebody 65 right now, they're on pension, probably are about to go on pension. In the next 10 years, they'll be 75. Why should someone tell you when you should retire? Wouldn't it be amazing if you decided when you wanted to retire because you had that money? Why should you take vacation days when you are allowed to? Wouldn't it be great if you can actually take a vacation when you want to and not hope to get vacation money, but if you miss a month, then you can't? No, because you got that money there. Wouldn't it be great to not owe school fee and actually not just pay for your child, but could pay for somebody else's child? Having more money allows you to live. We don't want you to just think on a bill. We want you to think on putting your money to make more money so that your children, not just yours, but the ones coming, you're going to have blessings in people that is connected to you and your family in a way that you could have never seen with the more money that you can make by understanding money is a tool to be used and not something to be feared.
Mm-hmm. And you have to know how to deal with money.
Exactly.
If you don't know how to do that.
And this is what we're going to be teaching you at the same time.
So only those folks who are invited will know the time and place.
The time is Saturday I'm telling you the time now is 7:45 until 8:30 p.m. So that persons who are in the Sabbath,
So just a 45 minutes.
it's 45 minutes, but we have a 15-minute buffer because the last one we had, we needed a 15-minute buffer. People stayed over. So it's 45 minutes because we are not believers in taking the time that we could be making money and sitting down having 21 questions when you should just act. It's about doing. So for us, 45 minutes, get you to that point. If you're interested, yes. If you're not interested, no. We have 5 different investment rounds. This round 1 is until February. And every round that we go, the investment amount will increase. So now it's 100 for round 1. But in round 2, that 100 going to turn into 200. And that 190 going to be 290. And that 460 going to be 560. But the best part is, you can invest multiple times in each round. And you can't do that with Pana. When I tell you possibilities, possibilities. And that interest, whoo, that's the sweetest thing.
Yep. All right. Any closing words?
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you, Mr. Clark. Thank you for the listeners listening and the viewers viewing. I have to say this. If you think that it is almost 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, that's not the time. The time is now o'clock. What are you willing to do now to change the rest of your life? The choice is yours.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being here today and bringing this information. Don't forget the telephone number, 556-1667, if you are interested in attending this presentation. So, Ameera, I wish you all the best. And
Thank you.
I want to hear, like, when you sell 1 million of them.
Hey, well, let's get 1 million investors.
Okay. So, all the best and thanks for being here today with us.
Thank you.
Okay. That's going to do it for me for today. Don't forget this evening.